Hello everyone, hope you all are doing fine. This is Gautam from Shailaja IS, and in this video we'll discuss on the Artemis 2 mission which was launched successfully on April 1st, 2026. Right? In this video we'll try and understand the evolution of space race in a brief manner, and we'll look into what is this Artemis Accords and what are the key features of the successfully launched Artemis 2 mission. And finally, we'll understand the importance of the moon's south pole, because that is what now every other country is trying to go and capture and dominate. Right? So let us begin with the evolution of a space race. It all began in 1957 when USSR first launched its satellite called as Sputnik, and the world was in shock. How could we send a man-made object to orbit around the Earth? How could we escape the gravity? How could we escape the atmosphere and put an object and which is going to send some data or some signals? So it was a prestigious achievement not only for the country but also for the humankind, right? And subsequent years, every launch was a political statement that who is a better power, who is a bigger power, right? And year 1961, USSR sent the first human into the space called as Gagarin, right? And in the subsequent years, it mounted more pressure on the US in order to overtake USSR with regard to space, with regard to the space exploration part of it. And when Kennedy became your president of United States, he made an open public statement that America is going to land a human on the moon itself, and that too they will land it before 1970. In fact, they were able to achieve it 1 year before itself. Your Neil Armstrong was one of the astronaut who was able to land on the moon itself. Right. So that rivalry continued for nearly 1.5-2 decades. But in 1975, there was some sort of an understanding between both the big powers. They understood that rather than we fighting against each other, rather than considering it as a competitive race, why not we collaborate and coordinate amongst each other so that humanity as a whole is going to get better idea or better understanding of the space? Because it is all, you can say, driven by scientists. And scientists always felt that whatever was the discovery that was made by USSR, if that is shared with the USA people, it will help us, you can say, move ahead with our own missions in a much more faster manner. So if there is collaboration, there is going to be a faster advancement, was the basic understanding between these two big powers. So 1975, rivals then became partners, and within the next 1.5 decade, they were able to join hands together and they were able to build something called as International Space Station. Other countries also chipped in, like your Canada and Japan and Europe also chipped in. So all of these 5 big powers came together. They established something called as International Space Stations. Each of them were, you can say, collaborating with each other, cooperating with each other. In case of any emergency, other country would come to rescue, so on and so forth. There was, you can say, exchange of data, exchange of scientific data. There was collaboration between each other. But now, from 2020 onwards, from your Trump era onwards, and now it is again entering into a new phase of space race between your USA and your China. More importantly, both the countries are racing towards trying to conquer moon. And the game in the space arena or the space industry has also changed drastically with the entry of private players like your SpaceX, which is headed by Elon Musk. And these private players are much more efficient and much more innovative with regard to, you can say, space exploration, right? So now the race is now being portrayed as the race between your USA and China. And whoever is able to first go and land and colonize moon. Now the objective is to colonize moon. Why moon? We'll look into that. towards the end of the video, right? So with this brief, you can say background, let us now understand this Artemis Records. Artemis Records, Artemis Accords are nothing but your voluntary non-binding set of rules for what? For safe, transparent, and peaceful exploration of space. Okay, so if it is nothing but a set of rules. So, for example, and any country is open to join it. Nearly 61 countries, including India, have signed or now a part of your Artemis Accords. Their major objective is to land on Moon and to explore Mars and beyond. That is the major objective. And the set of rules are what are they trying to do? They are trying to make sure that all this space exploration are safe. They're going to make sure that it is transparent. So suppose within the 61 countries, India is going to tomorrow go to or send a machine to Mars and get some data. India is going to send to Moon and collect some samples. So whatever is the discovery made, that will be shared transparently with the member countries. And there is going to be a peaceful exploration of space. We are not going to we are not going to place, you can say, destructive equipments in the space, right? If at all you are sending any object, you have to register with the other countries, and you are going to then send a project. You send a machine. So that is what is the basic Artemis Accords, which India is a part of. All you need to know, it's a set of non-binding voluntary rules for safe, transparent, and peaceful exploration of space, more particularly Moon, Mars, and beyond, right? It is rooted in your Outer Space Treaty. And if you look at the membership part of it, it is specifically designed to exclude China and Russia, right? It is specifically designed to exclude China and Russia. It is not a part of it. And it is also criticized that it is a US-led resource extraction mission. Because all these countries, even though they are saying it is a peaceful thing, you are not trying to militarize the space, you are not trying to make it a danger zone for the space. But still, the purpose is not scientific exploration. The purpose is resource extraction. That is why you guys are coming together, setting rules, collaborating with each other. That is the criticism that has been made. What is there to extract resource in the space, you might ask? We'll look into it in the last. This is another important aspect is private participation is also there. Public-private participation is now allowed. So unlike earlier nation-only space endeavors, nowadays space endeavors or space missions is integrally involving your private space players. Right? Now coming to your Artemis 2 mission, it was basically a testing mission, if you ask me. Now, testing for what, sir? Testing for 2028 launch, which is going to put humans on the moon. Since 1972, there has not been another mission which puts humans on the moon. So, in order to just check the Orion spacecraft, or in order to check other space launch systems for future missions, they have sent this Artemis 2 mission. Okay, so it went the farthest the humans could travel. In fact, it had 4 crew members, right? The space mission was carrying humans, but they wanted to check certain launch systems, certain spacecrafts, and more importantly, they wanted to check the exposure of radiations on the humans, how it is going to impact your tissues, how it is going to impact your muscles and your nervous system, right? So they are trying to, you can say, test the field before they actually go for landing of humans on the moon, right? And that is a stepping stone for 2028, the crewed lunar land work for 2028, right? So it is the farthest humans have ever been. And deep space research, which studies space radiation effects on your human tissues. That is what I have already told you. Now, why they are doing this? Why they want to land? Why they want to colonize the moon, especially your south pole part of it? Because they have realized that it is having water samples. Now, imagine water. What it can do? It can be split into hydrogen and oxygen, which is going to act as your rocket fuels. So tomorrow, in the coming maybe centuries, you take your rocket, go and land it in moon, you collect or you refuel it, and again send it beyond Mars or Jupiter or any other things. So it is more or less acting like your launch pad for the deepest space exploration. And you want to utilize the resources that is available on the moon itself, right? Because all our rockets are inherently having fuel as hydrogen and oxygen. So if any planetary object is having these elements, it becomes a landing space, it becomes a fuel station or a gas station for you. See, suppose you want to travel from Bangalore to Delhi, it's a 2000-kilometer long journey. If at all there are no fuel stations in between, you might have to travel a bulk of petrol in your. You might have to carry around 1,000 liters of petrol in your car itself, and then you have to travel again refuel. If you're if there are fuel stations or gas stations in between, you can travel light because you know that I can reach maybe Maharashtra and I can find a fuel station, get it refueled, and go travel further. So a moon, having a fueling station or a landing station whereby you can extract the resource and use it as a fuel enables humans to move beyond Mars. Until now, we have only moved till you can say moon. And if you are able to somehow get this resource, if you are able to somehow develop technologies which can utilize the existing resource in the moon, you can always refuel and you can push humans beyond you can say beyond further into the space, right? So and some of the peaks in your moon receives 24/7 sunlight, so you can always use it to recharge your solar, because satellites will be having that solar panels, right? So you can always use it to recharge that particular thing. And more importantly, it is a geopolitical price. Whoever is able to send humans beyond or the farthest is going to have a much more will be considered as a credible superpower. Okay, they are technologically superior. They are able to push the boundaries of human endeavors. So that is a geopolitical prize in itself. Okay, so that is what is about this Artemis Accords, and new space race which is opening up. It might have its own consequences which we are not yet seeing, especially with regard to a resource extraction part of it, right? But for you, this basic understanding is enough, right? So there's a one question. Let us look into it. The Artemis program represents a shift from Cold War flags and footprints model to resource-driven multilateral approach to space exploration. Critically examine the statement. So you tell me whether this resource-driven multilateral approach to space exploration, is it good or is it bad? So give me your points, whatever you know, even if it's 2 points, 3 points, you let me know, and you can write your answers and you can send it to me. You can send it to me on WhatsApp or mobile or on Telegram on this mobile number, or you can email it to me on this email ID. Looking forward for your answers, looking forward for your feedback, looking forward for your doubts. All the very best.